Hello, Mark!
Hello, good to see you.
Oh, it's great to see you. So, I'm really excited about some delicious food today.
We're going to cook up a lovely coronation dish.
Excellent. So, Mark, thank you so much for coming in today. Obviously, it's a bit of a special occasion. I think people might have noticed that it is the coronation. So, what are you going to do for us today?
So today we're going to do an amalgamation of both coronation recipes. This year's cheddar and broad bean quiche sounds delicious, but I'm going to do a little twist on that, and I'm going to introduce a little bit of Queen Elizabeth's coronation recipe.
Ah, the famous coronation recipe.
So coronation chicken, and we're going to mix that with this year's quiche, and we're going to do my twist on a coronation chicken quiche.
So we've got like generations of monarchy on a plate.
Exactly. So, step one for our coronation chicken quiche. We're going to we're going to start a little kind of curry paste spice that's going to flavour our quiche. So, we're going to start off by shredding some spring onions, warming them through in the pan with some wonderful Indian spices.
So is this where this is sort of like reminiscent of Queen Elizabeth's coronation?
Yes. Yes. So we're all familiar with coronation chicken. We've all had it in some form or another. I'm just thinking this is a little bit more of an elegant form to celebrate this weekend.
So this isn't a motorway services sandwich that says coronation chicken.
There's nothing wrong with a good coronation chicken sandwich. This is going to be a really nice, elegant way, something to serve to your guests this Saturday afternoon. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with our spring onions.
Come around here, out your way.
We're going to start off with our spring onions, and we're just going to be a little bit chefy. We're going to chop them on an angle, and we want to get them really nice and fine. Now, when I'm talking about cooking, everybody asks about knife skills. And what I always say in the house, if you're not a professional chef, as long as your knife skills are consistent, they can be consistently bad, just as long as they're consistent. So everything is roughly the same shape and size, so that everything cooks at roughly the same time. We'll just lose our end pieces. We'll get a pan, nice and warm. We're going to go in with some rapeseed oil to start with, so a nice high smoke point so we can cook our spring onions. We're going to finish off with some butter, just for flavour and for richness, but we're going to start off first of all with oil, so we don't burn our butter. So it's important that whenever we're cooking anything, we get our pan nice and hot, we get our oil hot. If I was to put these spring onions into cold oil, the spring onions are going to soak up.
So is that how you end up with like oily flavoured vegetables basically?
Exactly. So spring onions, nice hot pan, we can hear that little sizzle, we can see those little bubbles, we know our pan's nice and hot, and we're going to start off by wilting our spring onions. So this is stage one, and this, to be honest, this could be done the day before.
Right, okay.
So if we're having guests round to watch the coronation, we're going to make this dish, we can do step one the day before.
That's a huge help, and I know from especially from being a butler, when you have to cook at last minute, you're serving drinks and stuff, so all the stuff you can do that in advance.
Exactly. The whole thing of entertaining at home is you're with your guests. You want to be front and centre, you want to be outside, you want to be enjoying yourself. You don't want to be tucked away in the kitchen, slogging over a hot stove while you've got guests in the house. So we can do this part the day before. Half an hour before our guests arrive, we pop our quiche into the oven, let it cook, turn the oven off, let it sit there nice and warm, so we're going to serve or with our guests all the time. So, as our spring onions start to kind of sweat, slowly cook down, I'm going in with, now I've got mild curry powder. I just want a nice kind of warmth. I don't want it to be spicy. So, I'm doing a spoonful of mild curry powder. If you do like it a little bit hotter, then by all means use stronger or use more. And what I'm also going in with here is a little ginger, garlic and turmeric paste.
Oh wow, okay. So where would people get that if they were just buying it?
You can make it just by using a microplane grater and just grating your garlic, grating your ginger, grating your turmeric, and you get this nice paste. Or most supermarkets, Asian supermarkets, will have a ginger garlic. I think you can buy, certainly without the turmeric now anyway, but you can buy ginger and garlic pastes frozen.
Oh really?
The little ice cubes.
Can I have a sniff of that? That is a gorgeous smell, I love that.
So we're just going to cook this down. We want to cook all those dry spices out. We want to soften our spring onions. And this is about the most technical part of our Coronation Quiche, is our little curried spring onion base that's going to be the kind of main flavouring of our Coronation Chicken quiche. So while that ticks away nice and gently, and we don't want to get any colour on it, we just want to sweat our spring onions, we want to cook out our dry spices. So that's probably going to cook for 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
That's going to be the base of our quiche, but we actually need the quiche.
Oh, of course.
So, now you can, if you want, make your own pastry for this.
Yeah.
Nothing to stop you, but we'll try and make this a little bit more convenient.
We've only got so much time.
Exactly. So we can buy really good quality pastries from the supermarket. This is an all butter short crust pastry. So make sure you're getting short crust. You might find this problem. So I've got a 23 centimetre quiche tin, and I've got a fairly standard pastry from the shops. Now you may find that it's not quite enough.
It's one's rectangular and one's square.
That's not something to worry about. What we can do, I'll let you throw that greaseproof paper away. We can start to line our quiche tin. Now, what I don't want people to worry about if they're trying to make this recipe is 1, if it tears, or 2, if we've not quite got enough.
Because that's what always worries me, if it tears.
So the easiest thing to do is just take the weight of the pastry, then just use your thumb just to get into all those grooves around the edge of the flan tin. And we're just going to push this in. Now you'll notice that we've come a little bit short as we come round, and we can just use our fingers just to squeeze round, and again we'll just take the weight of the pastry. What's a really good tip? We just cut a little bit of our excess pastry off, ball it up, and we use that.
Oh wow, okay.
We use that to
I had
push
no idea
our
that's what you were
pastry
going to use
in.
that for.
If, like for example here,
Yeah.
where we have a little missing gap,
Yeah.
it's not an issue. We can just chop off a bit of our pastry, temple it out with our fingers, and just patch the hole.
And we don't need to add anything to stick that, it will just stick by itself?
Yeah, just a little kind of firm pinch. Make sure we can have the heat of our hands just enough to melt that pastry, and we can just smooth it off until we have a complete item.
Perfect.
Trim it off, tidy it up,
Yeah.
then stick that in the fridge
In the fridge.
for a good hour before we do anything with it. Firms that pastry up.
An hour in the fridge.
An hour in the fridge, and then we end up
Ta-da!
with the one we've made earlier. It's been in the fridge, so it's allowed the pastry to rest,
Yeah.
so it's not going to shrink when we cook it. We're not quite at the stage of making our quiche yet. Just going to check on our spring onions. We're not quite at the stage of making our quiche. What we want to do now is we need to blind bake our...
But how would we find the oven? That was terrible, I'm sorry, that was terrible.
So we want to blind bake our quiche tin.
Terrible.
So what we need when we're blind baking is either some greaseproof paper or some tin foil.
Okay.
Tin foil works really well because we can get right into the corners of our pastry case. But if we're just going to go with some greaseproof paper, we make sure that we get right down into the corners.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to use some baking beans. We can use, these ceramic ones are great, but some rice, some lentils, dried pasta. Not something that you're really going to want to use again, to be honest, because you're gonna cook it. So what we're going to do now is we've got our quiche tin, we've got our pastry lines, and we've got our baking beans in. We're going to stick that into a hot oven. So 185 degrees, 20 minutes into a hot oven. Once that comes out, so after 25 minutes, we end up with a lovely, completely cooked pastry, golden brown. Now is the time for us to fill and start off with our Coronation Quiche. So we have our lovely spring onions, sweated down with those lovely curried spices and our turmeric, garlic and ginger paste.
Wonderful.
This is going to be the base. This is going to bring that what we know as Coronation Chicken flavour to this year's recipe. So we're going to take some of this puree and we're just going to start in our pastry case. We're just going to smooth it across the bottom. Now, I am not worried about covering every centimetre of pastry. We're going to get little pockets. And the same when we're building everything else, we're going to get little pockets of flavour. So as we eat through each slice of our Coronation Chicken quiche, we're going to get little bursts.
Right, yeah. So actually, it's good to be not.
So that's our Coronation flavouring, our classic Coronation Chicken that we all know and love. We've got some chicken. This is a great recipe to use up leftover roast chicken. So if you've roasted the chicken, you've maybe got the brown meat, a little bit of meat left on the bone, pick it all off, and I'm just going to use some of my cooked leftover roast chicken that I'm just going to fill my pastry case with. And again, we're leaving little pockets so we can add other flavours into those pockets. Mango chutney.
Oh, I love mango chutney.
And it's one of the key ingredients in my Coronation Chicken. This Coronation Chicken that we all know, the sandwich filling, that's always goes into my Coronation Chicken. So I just got some nice sweet mango chutney, and we're going to do some little dollops.
So again, it's different flavours, different places.
Pockets of flavours. So we just get plenty of our mango chutney, so that every slice we cut of this quiche is going to have mango chutney in. So there's our mango in with our chicken and our Coronation spring onion. Tarragon is one of my favourite herbs. You don't see it fresh all that often.
No, you don't.
But what we're going to do, chicken and tarragon work so well together. We could use coriander. I was trying to keep a little bit kind of, I don't think of tarragon as quite a British herb. So, and then what I don't want to do is I don't want to get really chefy, and I don't want to chop this super fine.
Right.
Because if I do that, all the kind of lovely oils and flavour from tarragon, they're going to be chopped into my board. They're not going into my dish. So the more pressure I put on that, the more I'm going to bruise it, the more the flavour's going to come out.
It's like it's squeezing the oil
Exactly.
out. Yeah.
So keep it nice and big, and just run a knife through it once or twice, and we're going to use, and we're going to get these lovely kind of green flecks through our quiche as well. So tarragon, chicken, it's all going to work. These are all flavours that work really well together. So that's kind of our traditional Coronation Chicken.
Yeah.
Trying to be authentic to this year's recipe. I wanted to bring a little bit of cheese in. So what better than a real good Cornish cheddar? Right. Real strong. Microplane grater, really good, really fine. And I'm just going to do a really nice little covering of.
And we all know the King's great links to Cornwall and his love of Cornwall.
Exactly. And the King is a real kind of foodie. He's really passionate about homegrown, British ingredients.
That's true.
So we've added our cheese now. Now we want to add the actual the quiche mixture. What's going to bring this all together? So I have some really nice eggs for a.
The colour of those eggs.
And the yolks, the colour of the yolks are going to be really orange, and that's going to transfer into the colour of our quiche. So 23cm quiche, I'm going to use 3 eggs.
3 eggs. Oh yeah,
and
those then.
Really,
like a bright orange.
Really orange, and that's going to show.
Yeah.
In our quiche. Now.
So does good quality eggs really make a difference when it comes to flavour?
It does. Free range, high welfare is the way forward for eggs and for your chicken. And just to make it a bit lighter and a bit healthier, some double cream. Now, what you'll notice is I've not used a lot of traditional seasonings in this.
No.
There's no salt, there's no pepper, and that's deliberate. There's a lot of saltiness coming from the cheese.
Yes.
There is salt in our curry paste, and there's lots of spices in our curry paste. So don't always think of seasonings as always having to be salt and pepper.
Yeah, so it's like a compulsion today for the salt and pepper, isn't it? But this is...
So the cheese is going to bring saltiness, and the curry spices are going to bring that warm kind of pepperiness that we would. And
I must say, actually, often when I've had quiches, especially like a quiche Lorraine or something, it's been so salty, so salty.
Bacon, cheese, and probably salt.
And probably salt, yeah, exactly.
So what we want to do is we want to whisk up our egg and our cream. You're even adding the cream. That's still a really, really lovely colour. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this to the oven.
Yeah.
We're going to pour our quiche mixture into our flan round at the oven, and that way we're not going to spill. We're not going to spill over, so it's going to stick to the tray. So next stage is we'll head over to the oven. So now we need to bake our Coronation Chicken quiche in our oven. So I've got a tray in the oven preheating.
Okay.
So if you could get that out for me.
Certainly can. So be careful not to burn myself. Can I lift it out?
But bring it straight out. We'll stick it on top for a second.
Yep.
I'm going to place our blind baked quiche with all our lovely fillings in there.
Can I put that straight in?
Well, no, I'm going to put the filling in.
Oh, silly me.
So this is our cream.
This is why you're the professional.
And our eggs. Now if you can hold it a little bit stiller, so we're not pouring onto the floor. Sorry. And then that is going to go into our oven.
Shall I get a cloth to clean the floor, Chef?
Yes, yes, that would be a very good start.
That's been a long wait. That's been a long half hour.
We should be just about ready.
Just about ready
to take our Coronation Chicken quiche out of the oven. So let's have a look. What we're looking for when we go take it out of the oven is there should still be a slight wobble.
Slight wobble.
Slight wobble.
Okay, so we don't want it like overcooked. We don't want our eggs.
So,
because a lot of people think eggs have to be sort of cooked till they're really, really hard, don't they?
It's a bit like pork. Everyone thinks eggs and pork have to be ridiculously overcooked. Whereas in theory, you buy good quality, high welfare pork and eggs. And listen, I'm not going to say you can eat eggs raw.
Yeah.
But we want to
do
just
like whiskey sour.
Exactly. So we've just positively, you can see there's a nice little kind of just feels
bit of movement.
spongy. We shouldn't have egg running off our quiche. We've got a nice just springs back touch. So that is our Coronation Quiche, 35 minutes in a hot oven. And what I would tend to do, if I was having guests round, I would have this coming out of the oven an hour and a half before we want to serve it. So ideally, you could cook this before your guests even arrive.
Yeah.
And just have it sitting.
So it's just warm, not hot, basically.
And what that's going to do is this will let the egg just finish cooking, and it's going to mean we're going to be able to get a nice slice off it when it's just warm. We're going to cook, we're going to use ours straight away. We're going to take plain baked, rather than just cooking straight away. We have
lovely crispy bottom.
We don't have a soggy bottom.
No soggy bottom. I think that might be copyrighted. I don't know if we're allowed to say soggy bottom. We don't want what's his face? I can't remember his name.
So that we could just serve our quiche as it is, like this. But I'm going to do two things now just to jazz our Coronation Quiche up. One, we're going to take a nice slice.
Now I'm noticing this is a razor sharp knife. I feel that you're making that look a bit easier than...
You always want a really sharp knife. We're going to take a nice... Just take a little bit of care as the knife goes through the crust at the back, not to damage it. So we're going to get rid of just these pieces of our quiche just now. Those obviously go to more guests. So we could serve that as it is.
It looks pretty good.
But just to add another level of flavour, I have something that we're all really familiar with, and this is just kind of like my kind of coronation dressing.
Ah.
So it's mayonnaise, it's the coronation spices, a little bit of mango puree, some lemon. I've just blitzed up. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to be a little bit chefy with this, because chefs would be lost without our squeezy bottles. We're just...
Oh, look at that. Look at that action.
We're just going to drizzle a little of our coronation mayonnaise over the top of our quiche. Our quiche can then go onto our plate.
Beautiful.
And then I just want something really fresh, really zingy little salad, just to garnish our Coronation Chicken quiche with. So what we here is some wonderful little leaves,
Yep.
some chard, some watercress, all sorts of lettuces that I've just washed and spun dry. And I'm going to keep this really simple. So what I want, I'm going to do some red onion. So again, this is just going to nice and fresh and zingy, and we're going to work with the same flavours. Well, we want it really finely sliced. We want to almost be able to see through our red onion. And the best way to do that is a nice fine knife, and to use as much of the blade as we can, and we get these really fine slices of our red onion. And we're going to dress this together in the bowl, so we don't have to be too careful with it. Lots of really fine red onion.
Yep.
Same with some cucumber. Again, really kind of fresh. This is maybe especially if it's a nice day on Saturday.
Yeah.
This is going to be the perfect little kind of summer garden lunch. So some nice slices of cucumber. We can just do them lengthways, cut them down. They're all roughly the same shape and size. So a little cucumber red onion salad. We're going to dress it in the bowl. I don't want a really kind of thick, heavy, mustardy French dressing. I want to keep it really zingy to go with the rest. So some really good quality British rapeseed oil. It's a lovely yellow colour, just enough, just to coat our leaves. Then just the juice of a lime.
Ah, okay.
So just some fat from the
You should
oil.
think of like the oil and vinegar, but the lime a bit fresher.
Some fresh lime juice onto our salad. We can use the bowl just to dress that. We want our leaves to be glistening with the oil. We don't want loads of dressing left in the bottom of the bowl. And then we can just start to build a little salad on the plate, making sure we get a few of each of the lovely leaves that are in here. Make sure we've got some red onion and cucumber. We can just build it up onto our plate. Make it look like it just fell there. And just finish it off with some red onion. Probably got enough watercress there. And that, for me, is my way to celebrate the coronation this weekend. Amalgamating this year's Coronation Quiche recipe and Queen Elizabeth's Coronation Chicken with my Coronation Chicken quiche.
Beautiful. Well, happy Coronation Day.
Exactly. I'm just going to leave now.
That would be
quite funny.
Yeah.
Well, you can edit that bit out, can't you?
I don't know, I quite like it. Actually, it's quite funny.
Oh wow.
So. I was hiding.